Welcome to Both Down, episode 23, the number one Blood Bowl podcast.
That invades Chicago.
Yep, it's Steve, a.k.a. Kilowoggy, a.k.a. Old Dirty Ginger, a.k.a. whatever the hell else Scott's going to call me today. And with me, as always, is Scott.
Scott Prime.
If you want to call yourself that. And if you want to see what a Scott Prime
Finley.
looks... Oh, yeah.
Or Fat Finley.
Yeah.
Online everywhere in the world.
You can go onto his Twitter and see a very disturbing picture of him as Scott Optimus Prime.
Was that really that bad?
It's interesting.
Is it?
It's weird. He got face painted, and it did not look good.
Yeah, I look like Father of the Year because, I randomly took my kids to McDonald's, and they thought they were getting, a big surprise because the guy dressed up like Green Lantern was face painting and doing animal balloons for free. And really, it was
were all the balloons green?
No, they're all different color.
Lame.
But he was he was from England, so he had his accent, so he made it automatically nicer.
I guess it's true.
And so the kids just thought, man, Dad is the coolest thing ever. And what they really don't know is Dad was really lazy and didn't want to fix food.
You didn't know about any of the other stuff?
I had no clue. But
okay.
I look like Super Dad. Then they got, my oldest daughter got, Red Hawk. She thought it was a real hero, but it looked more like a Hawkman, but it was red. So I think he was his version of, since we here in Oklahoma City have the minor league baseball team, the Red Hawks. I think it was his Hawkman version.
That's kind of cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
So she was Red Hawk, and my other daughter was Spider Girl. But instead of the traditional Spider-Man colors, it was pink.
Ew.
And then I asked them to pick, they said they wanted to do a face painting of me, and I was like, no, I don't think he'll let you do that. And then the guy was painting their faces, and he goes, "You guys want to paint Dad's face too?" And of course they were like, "Yeah." And they really picked out Optimus. They picked out Blue Robot.
Yeah.
And they did it without me, pressuring him or anything. Huh. They had a skull picked out, and then they saw the robot. They go, "No, you need to look like this." And I was like, "That's pretty ironic."
Daddy's cold and heartless like a robot.
Is that what it is?
I think so.
Great.
Yeah.
So how you been doing, man?
Oh, pretty good. Blood Bowl-wise, I think they might have done an update on Cyanide.
Really?
I played a game recently and didn't hate it.
Really?
I know. Shocking.
So are you satisfied with the dice?
I was.
The virtual dice?
I mean, it was a pretty even game anyways. There was a little bit of inducements on the other player's side, but not much. And maybe that helped. Because I think when there's more inducements, then the dice get a little bit wonkier. But they seemed good. I didn't have any crazy, stupid luck, So
did you win?
Yeah, I actually did.
Oh, okay. That
helped.
That helped it feel better.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely. But he didn't get boned either. I mean, he had some bad luck, but he was, dodging. And,
so it was a nice upgrade because you won.
Well, yes.
I'm just kidding.
But the dice also seemed more realistic.
I gotcha.
And the graphics seemed a little bit better. There was a pitch that neither one of us had seen before.
Did they do some type of upgrade?
I don't know.
Okay.
Could just be talking out my butt, but I don't know.
Talking at your butt.
Yeah. Speaking of Cyanide, we have a new podcast around.
We do. Oh, we're going to do this now instead of shout-outs?
Would we be shouting them out for some reason?
Oh, no. We'd just say, welcome to the block, kids.
All right. Well,
I'm assuming they're younger than me, so I can call them kids.
That's possible.
Yeah. So it's Xander and Uriel, and they're from Finland and Canada somewhere.
Yeah.
I wanted to say French Canada, but...
French Canada.
French Canadian.
Those Quebecers.
They have a new podcast, where it specializes in Blood Bowl from the point of view of, we don't have the tabletop, we just play Cyanide.
Mm-hmm. It's actually really interesting. They've done a couple of team breakdowns and stuff. Yeah. I think it's interesting.
Yeah, there's 2 episodes out. It would probably be more interesting to me if I had Cyanide.
Yeah.
But... One day I'm going to upgrade my old rustic computer, and I'm going to, need all the advice and help I can. But yeah, they do team breakdowns from a totally different perspective than I've heard so far.
I think so. But yeah, they're Orca Cola podcast.
I think, which is based off the Orca-Cola League on Cyanide. That's
Right.
the biggest online league in the world, I guess.
I think so.
There's a whole bunch of coaches, a whole bunch of divisions. You win your division, you go up to the next division. You lose your very bottom of your division, you go down. So it's
like a tiered system. And they don't run it, but they're actually in it. So.
Oh, they don't? I guess they don't run it.
I don't think so.
Anyways.
But yeah, it's a nice new addition, at least.
So now we have 4 Blood Bowl podcasts. So get out there, support them, because hopefully it just grows the product.
Yeah. I think that's pretty much it for me, Blood Bowl-wise. Anything for you this couple weeks? So no, it's only been a couple weeks since we put out a podcast. We're putting out a special episode because...
this is going to be early.
Yeah.
Because we want you guys to listen to this as you travel to Chaos Cup. And for those that don't go to Chaos Cup, it's going to make you go like, man, I should have gone to Chaos Cup.
Well, also we know that the last couple episodes have been very tournament heavy, and the next episode is going to be very tournament heavy. So we figured we'd give you a nice little fluff surprise.
Well, most likely I figured that we're going to do once again a Chaos Cup special.
More than likely, yeah.
Where we just talk about our travels and our journey and our rounds at Chaos Cup only.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, we thought we'd get some fluff things back in, even though they might be kind of Chaos Cup based.
A little bit.
So,
but still fluff.
I've been doing a lot of painting.
Oh, yeah.
For Chaos Cup, because I waited till the last second, even though I started 6 months ago.
Well, I started a year ago.
Right.
I knew a year ago what I wanted to take to Chaos Cup.
Yes, you did.
And I got nothing painted. Nothing.
Steve is blessed.
I'm horrible.
With the fact that his buddy, Brian Hill, in our league, had a Lizard Man team painted, and he left it over at Steve's house so he could spray finish them or whatever you want to call it, seal them.
Yeah.
And they've sat here for months. And that just gave Steve the big old fat excuse to go, that team's already done.
I'll just take that one. It's already painted.
It's already painted. It's ready.
I tried to do mine, sort of. We had a tornado.
Uh-huh.
I had problems getting them based or primed. I've been dealing with crap with my dad.
Your new nickname's the Executioner.
The Executioner.
The Executioner.
I like that.
You got a lot of excuses.
I'm the worst X-Men ever. Come on, Executioner. We got to go take down Magneto.
Dude, I tried. I had a tornado, my friends.
No, look. We have to go take down Magneto. He's attacking right now.
Look, man. I was going to do that, but my alarm clock didn't go off today. So I just can't do it.
Fine, we'll take Beast.
No, well, I forgot to wake up Beast. It's not my fault, though. I was up playing Cyanide Blood Bowl.
I love this character.
And the server went down, so I had to wait for my game. No, I've been doing painting, and while I'm happy with the result, until we show up at Chaos Cup, when I see everybody else's,
yeah,
they're going to pull out their figures and go, I didn't do a very good job, and I'm going to punch them in the face. I like what I've done.
I think it looks really good.
I still have 4 more figures to come back and do, because my full team's not painted. So I believe in painting the whole full team just in case one day you decide to have
absolutely
whatever, even though I know I don't need most of those figures. So anyways,
no games or anything, just painting.
I'm trying to think if I had played any games. Have I? I think it was 6 months ago or so, somebody either tweeted us or emailed us or had a question for us, like if we ever expand our home league.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody asked if we ever have other people, outside people, join our league, and I always said no, because it's a really close-knit group of friends and stuff. Well, I'd like the world to know that not just one, but 2 people from outside of our normal group of friends will become our normal group of friends because I've invited them to join our league.
Yeah.
And we are going into the Dragonfire Blood Bowl League, season number 7, 25-15, with the most teams we've ever had, which is going to be 16.
It's impressive.
So, and that's with some people taking 2 teams, some people taking 1 team. And we even have one guy sitting out. So it would have been 18 teams, but he's sitting out. He just had his baby girl born. That's Brian Hill as well.
Yeah.
Congratulations to him and Heather and their daughter Abby. So, or Abigail, I guess.
Whatever.
Now they're calling it both.
We call it Abby.
Okay. Well, I didn't want to confuse it with England Abby. So.
Oh, okay.
But I guess they couldn't have had England Abby because she's older. So, anyways.
She's in England.
And she's in England. You never know, dude. You read comics, you kind of believe that almost anything could happen. Like they could have had her, and then Abby was sent back in time or into the future to grow old.
So, again, back to X-Men.
Yeah, it's Nate Summers, yeah. Nathaniel Summers. Anyways, so we have one of the biggest leagues that we're ever going to have, and we are contemplating actually extending playoffs now and have even an extra couple slots for wild card games and stuff. So more details on that. And after the season is complete, which won't happen until next March or so, I want to have Leland and John on because their guys coming in for the first time ever playing a Blood Bowl league where it's random skills. And I really want real feedback from them no, man, this really freaking sucks. Or
yeah, because aside from you,
cool.
Everybody else in the league had never played before, so this is just what we're used to.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And these guys are not used to that. So can't wait to hear feedback and interview those guys.
Should be interesting.
But yeah, so I did play a game against Leland, had an orc team, and against my it was my chaos team.
Mm-hmm.
And he right from the beginning he said, "Oh, I hate playing chaos," and his reasonings didn't sound valid. It just sounded like bad luck. And then bad luck happened. My claw guy just ripped his black orc blockers, and I rolled him. But
you got two of them out of the way in the first two turns, right?
Yes, it felt like I was playing against myself in a tournament because turn 1 I knocked out a black orc blocker with a casualty. Turn 2, same thing. And then once you have numbers on them, you know how that goes. So, anyways, yeah. So I actually won my last game 3-0. So
that's good. I'm
looking forward to playing some games at Chaos Cup.
Yeah,
and hopefully have good luck there. Because I haven't really played any practice games. I
haven't played anything at all.
I heard 3 Die Block talking on their podcast about how we're going to play test some games. And it's just play testing Blood Bowl just doesn't resonate inside my head like it's a good idea. I know it's stupid.
To everybody out there, it's stupid, yes. But we don't care that much to do well, I guess.
That's bull crap. I'm gonna be really furious when I lose some games. I guess my problem is we have such a small group of guys that I know how Alan's going to play.
Yeah.
No matter what team. I know how you're going to play, probably almost with any team.
Mm-hmm.
So if we play test each other, we already kind of know our play styles. Therefore, if you told me hey, we're going to have a play test group with random people, then that might be helpful.
But at least it familiarizes you with your team.
I totally agree with that. And, we're taking Michael Lewis with us, and I'm going to talk him into playing a game Friday night, whether he knows it or not.
Cool.
Just so I can get those jitters out of the way.
And we might have time on Thursday.
Yeah, we might. So do you want to talk about that now?
I guess we might
Let's just throw it all right here in the front.
We're going to front load this podcast.
That's right.
Thursday night, we are actually going to we're going to take some demos for Dreadball, because we've not yet played it.
Dreadball,
so
the future.
Instead of a big group of us getting together and going out for pizza, which would be fun, like last year, but it's the first game of the NFL season, so we're thinking we probably don't want to do that. Plus, we want to just we don't know what time we're going to get in. We kind of want to relax, so...
I figure in theory, if we get in, we can go grab some cheaper fast food or something, and whoever wants to hang with us, grab us in the hall, let's go. Go with us, we'll all come back, and we'll hang out in that area where they played games last year.
Yeah.
And we'll learn some Dreadball with everybody.
Yeah, because we want to learn how to play Dreadball. I've had it since December. I figured it's time to learn.
And as much as I hate to say this, because this is a Blood Bowl podcast, there's been now enough Dreadball talk by everybody I know who's played it, who says they really like it. And I've watched many of the videos, and I think it's the game designer that has the raspy voice, and he gets so excited about playing Dreadball. And that guy kind of sometimes annoys me because, anyways, I'll move on from that. But anyways, the game must be fairly good. And if everybody thinks it's pretty decent, I want to at least learn it and be able to judge it myself.
Okay.
So this is a great opportunity to...
Yeah.
We're all going to be there. We're there to have fun with other people playing games, so why not Dreadball? So, Mike Bell's doing it, right?
Yeah, Junkie Studios, Mike Bell.
Mike Bell from Junkie Studios Thursday night's going to demo Dreadball games all night and stuff. And I think he's even going to have product there in case you want to purchase, like you fall in love with it and want to purchase it. So, and Extreme is running a Dreadball tournament the next day. So if you come out there and you actually like it, pick you up a team. I know they said Mike Bell's going to have the stuff there so you can actually assemble your team. Then you can go play the next day. So
that's cool.
It should be fun hanging out with everybody. I'm sure Jonas and everybody from Europe and stuff will already be in town, so we get to hang out and tease them and everything else. Anything else?
I think that more than covers everything.
I think we're done with this podcast, Steve.
I don't think so. I think it's just the beginning.
All right, so we're going to have this podcast in 3 segments. Isn't that what the other podcast says?
Yes, so don't do that.
Okay, so we're not...
They can copy us. We don't copy them.
Okay. So, wow.
Just kidding. We can totally copy them.
We can?
Oh,
okay. Yeah. So, we're going to talk, first segment, we're going to talk about some, we're going to try to do the secret weapon thing that we were going to talk about last time.
We got interrupted by last time?
Yeah, Wilhelm Cheney. Okay. Yeah, that was really funny,
by
the way.
We're not actually going to talk about the Chaos Seesaw, are we?
No, we're not. We're gonna take parts of the secret weapons, and first we're gonna go with something familiar, and we're gonna talk about chainsaws.
Scott wants to rant about chainsaws.
No, I want everybody to know where they've gone or where they used to be. So we're gonna talk about chainsaws first, and how they used to be.
Okay.
And then next segment we're going to actually talk about like the fluff and the thoughts behind our teams that we're taking to Chaos Cup.
Okay.
Because at least for me, being on a Blood Bowl podcast of Fluff, and actually Steve did too. Steve put a lot of thought in his as well. We just don't play a team usually. We just don't say, hey, this is my Goblin team and go with it. We usually kind of put a story behind it. And so we kind of want to tell everybody out there in case they're struggling or looking for ideas for their own teams.
Yeah.
And then in the final segment, we're going to talk about some Chaos Cup and then the fact of like...
the actual fluff behind it.
The fluff behind it, kind of some of the first things they've... the stuff that's kind of written in the books, we'll just kind of talk over that because you kind of overlook that stuff after you play Blood Bowl so long, and when it's not right out of the box, you know how we show new people Blood Bowl, we don't say, hey, go look and read all this history. So we kind of wanted to touch up on that. So,
and people were kind of curious as to why we thought Chaos Cup was such a big deal,
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's a major for a reason, and yeah, I'm looking forward to. Ooh, bless you.
Thank you.
We'll just leave that in. See how I did that? We'll leave your sneeze in.
So anytime you cough, you put a finger up and you back away from the microphone, and I be quiet. I be quiet.
I'd be quiet.
That's my rap name.
It's very culture of you.
I need to sneeze, and I back away from the microphone, put a finger up, and you just keep talking.
Well, I think it's important to get some Kilowoggy sneezes in there.
One of us is a professional.
Oh, one of us is. One of us isn't. One of us is also a virgin.
I don't think either one of us is. Wrong podcast again.
Wow!
I'm not saying which one.
Don't tease Johnny.
Hey, we have 4.
Don't tease Johnny Extreme that way. Anyways, let's go. Let's take a little break. Let's head off to our segments, and thank you for listening to Both Down.
Both Down is brought to you by Wizards Asylum, your premier source for comics and games in Norman, Oklahoma. Check them out online at their new home, wizardsnorman.com.
All right, welcome back. In this segment, we're going to talk about the chainsaw of Blood Bowl.
What type of chainsaw?
Well,
what brand?
What brand?
Yeah.
Steel. That's like a real brand.
It is.
But we could spell it different. Steal.
Ah.
And goblins can make it, so they can steal things.
I gotcha.
How's that?
No, not that good.
Oh, okay. So, I know this sounds like people are going like, who gives a crap? It's just a chainsaw. We know how that works. You roll a d6. You hope you don't roll a 1 for a kickback, and you do an armor roll. Well, that's not how chainsaws used to be, Steve.
I did not know that.
You really didn't, or you just...
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I only know the new rules. That's how I've known them since the beginning.
Okay, so we're looking at the companion book
Mm-hmm.
from way back when in second edition. And if there was chainsaws in first edition Blood Bowl, I do not know. I truly doubt it, since this seemed like a new concept at the time.
I don't remember seeing any miniatures with them.
Yeah.
Or cardboard pieces.
Cutouts.
I don't remember.
So these were called the chainsaw wielding loonies. So we always at least had a lot of fun in making up so and so the loon to indicate that this guy was holding a chainsaw. And basically all you did is you were allowed by the rule book to have up to 2 guys with chainsaws on your team. Okay?
On any team?
On any team.
Oh, wow.
According to the rules, and I've read through this, and the loophole is still there. I mean, now it seems like chaos teams have it, or the goblins have it.
Mm-hmm.
But back then it was like you could put this on anybody. And in our league, we had a guy who was playing halflings and trying to make halflings work. So, of course, we were younger, and we justified why ogres were okay to be on a halfling team, because it just back then big guys just replaced players on a 2-to-1 basis.
Yeah.
And ogres in the book were called neutral, and so we figured that good players could play with neutral. So we had a halfling team. The Greenfield Grasshuggers had 2 ogres on it, and they also had 2 chainsaw loonies.
Nice.
The most famous of the chainsaw loonies, especially halfling style, was Terrence the Loon in our league.
Okay.
Let me tell you how the chainsaws used to work. All right, everything was back then was kind of based on you threw 2d6s. There was no blocking dice. So
Okay.
even when you made a block, you compared strength to strength.
Now, first off, how did you get them on your team? Did you just buy them? Or do you not know?
According to this, and this is how I remember, this is before the money stuff actually hit Blood Bowl. You didn't have to buy players, you just had players.
Oh, really?
You got to remember, we got the Star Player book first.
Okay.
And then we got this book later. And I don't even... Here, let me move my mic real quick here. And thumbing through the book, it doesn't even talk about, buying them or anything.
Okay.
There was a secret weapon, official table, if you could sneak them on. It was a 50-50 chance that the ref would, just kind of let it go.
Mm-hmm.
Or if he would catch you before you tried to wield whatever weapon it was out there. So... back in that edition, you threw blocks and you checked this chart, 2 to 12. So 2, 3, 4. I think it was. If you threw a block, you were down. 5, 6. Anyways, 7 and 8 were a standstill. Both players stood there and looked at each other, kind of like both down. And then 9 and up was somebody got hurt. You knocked the other guy down.
Okay.
Same concept. You rolled the dice for armor and then a dice for injury, all based off the 12, 2 through 12, 2d6s. The chainsaws actually went off agility. And in that edition, agility you would use to tackle somebody. So while it was a more violent game, if you were dwarves and you had agility 2 on all your players and you played a halfling team that had a halfling catcher that had 5 agility, you would take the dwarf agility minus the halfling agility.
Right.
So that's minus 3, and then you'd roll the dice and minus 3 from those dice. So it was very hard to tackle with dwarves back then.
So, if you did the 2d6 and you came up with a 9, it'd actually be a 6.
Correct.
So instead of taking him down like normal, you would be
at a standstill where you look
pushing
at each other.
Yeah. Oh.
Okay.
Okay.
So it was very that version of the game was not very perfect, because ideally, halfling catchers really came with 5 agility.
Yeah.
They were amazing.
Jeez.
So it was a different game. You hit each other with strength. You tackled each other with agility.
Mm-hmm.
Chainsaws were based off agility. So it didn't take us long to realize, give this to a human lineman with 3 agility, or give it to a halfling lineman. Well, yeah, I think it had to be a lineman position, if I remember correctly. But they had 4 agility. The lineman did.
Mm-hmm.
So think about treemen. back then
Yeah.
had 2 agility versus a halfling catcher, a halfling lineman with a chainsaw. So you automatically got +2 on this chart. And halflings versus dwarves, the same thing, because most dwarves' agility was 2 at the time. So I want to keep saying halfling catchers. Halfling linemen with these chainsaws almost all the time got a +2 in the right situations because they'd go after large monsters.
So would the chainsaw give you +2?
You get +2 to this chart, and I'm about to read this chart off for you. There was a chart called the chainsaw wielding loony table.
Okay.
And you roll 2d6.
Okay, so hold on.
I'm confusing you.
I think I got it. In rolling for the chainsaw, you rolled and then you added the difference in agility, right?
That's correct.
Okay, and then you looked at your chart.
That's correct.
Okay, it's not like tackling where you compare it or anything. Okay, I gotcha.
So, like, let's say my human lineman with a chainsaw was attacking a dwarf blocker at that time.
Yeah.
Which would be, dwarf blocker has 2 agility, the human lineman have 3.
Right.
So the human
So
lineman
they
would get a
+1 automatically.
Right.
And then they get +2 for having a chainsaw.
Well, we'll get to that in a second.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So here's the first chart you'd roll.
I gotcha.
You roll your 2d6. 4 or less. The loony swings the chainsaw rather. He misses the target. Roll for scatter. So the chainsaw goes flying through the air. If there's a player in the square that it's indicated, he's been hit by the loony's wild slash. Okay? 5 to 8 was curses. The chainsaw missed. 9 through 11 was choppy. The chainsaw hit the target. And then 12 or more, back then you would add the die. If you had a +3, you would just add that. So if you rolled a 10, that became a 13. So 12 or more was buzz, chop, thunk. The head of the target is neatly sliced off. That's it. Your guy's dead. You don't get to check armor. You don't get to anything.
Okay, so if you've got a halfling lineman with a chainsaw,
4 agility.
4 agility, going up against a dwarf lineman with 2 agility, you roll a 10, and now
Dead.
you have a 12,
Right,
and he's
dead.
just straight up dead.
His head's off.
Wow.
That quick.
Wow.
That quick. So even if you roll a 7 and you get choppy, because 7 plus 2 is 9,
Yeah.
then you roll the armor roll at a -2. So
Okay.
if my armor is 11, it now becomes a 9.
So you just had to roll a 9 to break it.
Right.
Okay.
And then you +2 on the injury. And back then the
Wow.
injuries were the same ways where you rolled 2d6s and you had a stun box, a KO box, and a casualty box.
Okay.
So you can see how
And back
these are-
then, did anything above a 12 was dead?
Yes.
Okay.
12 or more was dead.
So if you rolled a 10 on the injury plus the 2,
Dead.
they're dead.
Dead.
Dang.
So my dwarf team and anybody with like a troll or a ogre blocker, or
Because they'd have ones.
well, no, they had 2s.
Okay.
But still, you don't want to give anybody pluses when that's.
Yeah.
It's not like now. Now, you think, where'd they get the kickback from? The kickback happened after you hit the guy.
Mm-hmm.
You roll a d6, and on a 1 or 2, the kickback was actually like, it says here, the chainsaw catches on the piece of the victim's armor or bone, gets stuck, and then kicks back, hitting the loony. The loony, struck by his own chainsaw, must make an armor roll and injury rolls just like another player. So
That makes more sense, though. Because when you're starting a chainsaw, the only way you can hurt yourself without putting it to something is if you're really stupid.
yeah,
So that makes more sense in the old way, but I guess now it's more leveling the playfield.
right. So yeah, chainsaws were like, oh my gosh, especially
Sounds vicious.
especially with the right team. He was like, oh my god, and you try to hit them and hurt them before they could hit
Yeah.
and hurt you.
Now, was there anything to if you blocked against a guy with a chainsaw and they went down? Or
Not that I remember. You just rolled armor and stuff like normal, from what I remember. And looking here at the rules, I don't see anything like if you knock the guy down, it's more armor or anything like that. Decapitation. And I'm just going to read this because I think it's funny.
Okay.
A buzz, chop, thunk result decapitates the target. Understandably, this is fatal. Remove the playing piece from the pitch and place the severed head counter, provided in the pullout section at the end of this book, in a square where the player was. Then roll for scatter to see where the head ends up. The head may be picked up and thrown like a football. If the Looney's team can get the head back to the dugout, it scores a huge moral victory and is entitled to a team reroll as a reward.
Wow.
The only way an opposing team can stop this is to get the head back in their own dugout first. The team gets the head into its dugout by getting one of its players who's holding the head into the square to the substitute entry zone. Back then, it was kind of like hockey. You had like a way to get on the field and off the field. So,
right.
In case people don't know, if you got a guy hurt, immediately you could run another guy out of the end zone or the dugout to put him back on the field up to 11 players. So you guys think chainsaws suck now? No, they don't. There would never have been cool flint churn blade. I mean, like, that guy came from second edition, but you saw his star player stats and stuff, and you were like, I'd just rather have a halfling chainsaw loony. And Terrence the Loon was like the guy that never could die, and he was a halfling, and I was stupid enough I'll just name him Terrence, because there was a kid at school named Terrence who I thought looked kind of like a halfling. And I regretted that, because that guy just destroyed people. So chainsaws really sucked.
I like the decapitated head, though.
I knew you would like that.
That's cool.
There was something to be said about a quick death because it made a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So, like, when we started playing again, I've always had deep down a little problem with chainsaws not being powerful enough.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, they're still powerful. Don't get me wrong. I don't want hack and slash to go hit any of my guys or nothing with the +3 and stuff, but it never felt powerful enough. So this is why, because these things used to be just deadly.
Yeah. I think a lot of the drawbacks to chainsaw now, the kickback, not so much. I mean, it's 1 out of 6.
It's
I
if
can
somebody
live with
hits
that.
you and then you have to roll down.
You don't have a lot of strength, so people are going to hit you, and then you're going to hurt yourself pretty easily. Because you have 7 or 8 armor, they just need a 5 or a 6, and you're good.
Right.
You know?
Now, this is probably where the no hands thing came, and it even says in these rules that they're not allowed to pick up the ball or anything like that. So,
oh yeah, it takes 2 hands to wield a chainsaw.
Obviously so, right. So, anyways, if you didn't know before, now you know how bad chainsaws used to be. So, be happy.
Or how awesome they used to be.
Or how awesome they used to be. You like the decapitated head rule, huh?
That's pretty funny. Just take it off and get a reroll.
I figured you would like that. That seems very goblinish.
It does. I was almost thinking you could just score with it.
Well,
but then that'd be too chaotic.
I guess in the right league, if that's what your rules were. But
yeah.
I don't know how. I mean, how many times have you seen a death by chainsaw since you played?
Probably a couple times, but not recently.
Yeah. I don't know if I've ever seen it. I know I haven't been.
We don't see them as much now that they raise the price on everybody.
That's true.
The last edition, what was it, 5, I guess?
Yeah.
They were cheap. And people were inducing them left and right.
That's true.
But now, where they added like 30,000 to everybody, it's the right price because we don't do it as much. I think the last time I had a chainsaw guy, he was in for one play, got hit, and casualtied himself. I was like, well, there goes 100,000.
Yeah, that's usually how it works. So,
anything else about chainsaws?
No. A lot of the... really going to make fun of me? I have a real problem.
I know. It's me.
It is you. I actually like, and as we go over these, because we're just going to do this every podcast until we're done with these.
We'll do it when we need something to do.
No, we're going to go over one weapon until we're all done with all of these. We're going to do over the pogo sticks of doom and the grenades and everything else.
Okay.
But what I like about these is they didn't have a assigned position. So, like I said, if you wanted to take a chance with a chainsaw guy on a human team or wherever, you could. Now, the game was a lot more violent back then.
Yeah.
And it's really, like, chaotic stupid. Everybody will find out when we talk about the Chaos Seesaw. Which I have played with, so I do have experiences from that, too. So.
We've been teasing that for like a year now.
I know. We're just going to keep it going. That's why I was like, we're just going to break these weapons down one by one. And we'll eventually get to Chaos Seesaw.
Maybe.
All right. Anything else?
Not for me.
All right.
This is all you, man. You're the fluff guy.
I'm the fluff guy. So if you see me in Chicago, you just come over and say, hey, fluff guy.
Just call him Fluffer.
Really?
Fluffer Nutter.
Fluffer Nutter. That's so stupid.
Okay, so we're done with this segment, apparently.
All right.
We'll be back.
Hi, this is the Long Island Blood Bowl League for both down. Nassau sucks. Suffolk sucks. Nassau sucks. Suffolk sucks.
And now back to Stephen Scott.
There you go.
And welcome back. In this segment, we're going to talk about our teams that we're taking to Chaos Cup.
Yeah.
Chaos Cup.
Gas Cup.
Chicago. So you want to go first or you want me?
I don't care. What do you want to do?
Hey, I'll go first. So, this year's Chaos Cup is brought to us by Nestle's Crunch, which is a parody of Nestle's Crunch, obviously.
And I can't say that.
Nestle's?
Yeah.
I could until you said that.
Well,
Nestle's.
you can't say it either.
Nestle's.
Okay.
So, I thought it'd be interesting if that's Slanesh's candy bar, and Crunch has a competing candy bar, at least at Halloween. I guess these used to be full-size bars, but now they only come out in those miniature packs.
What's that?
The Hershey's Crackle,
Yeah.
you know, which I always liked better than the Nestle Crunch.
Really?
Yeah.
I think I did too, but I couldn't tell you that it tastes better. I just thought
like
it was cooler package with red.
Yeah, that's probably a lot of it.
But yes, they used to be full size.
I don't remember them being full size, but I know the miniatures. So I thought it'd be fun to do an anti-Nestle's Crunch team. So I made a corn-based sort of Heresy's Crackle. Okay. So like they're going after the heretics, and they want to crack your armor.
Right, and their mascot's the giant alligator.
It
was awesome looking.
It's a crazy alligator who's eating a Heresy's bar that says Crackle underneath it.
It is an alligator that is red.
I posted it on Facebook, so go to Facebook and like us on Facebook.
The logo is really cool. It looks like a Jack Kirby-esque devil dinosaur alligator.
Yes, it really does.
It looks pretty awesome. So I'll give you credit for that. And I like your idea. I got to admit, when he told me this idea of this corn-based lizard man team, I thought it was just a stupid excuse. And it kind of is.
It is.
But so is like most fluff ideas is like a reason for you to do whatever.
Mm-hmm. And I will say that...
But I actually like it more and more.
This team, part of the reason I didn't get stuff painted is because of the name. And I'll kind of explain this. I looked at the Lizard Man team, because I have a GW Lizard Man team. I've been wanting them for a while, and I looked at the models. And they have, like, very light armor on, I guess. Mm-hmm. You know, like the little chest plate and thing.
Right.
And I started looking at it, and to me it kind of reminded me of, like, aprons. Like, not really armor, but more just cloth that they're wearing.
Oh, the sources?
Yeah.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, they look like aprons.
Yeah.
So then I thought, oh, wait a minute. They could be working in a candy company, making candy bars, and then, like, they lost their job or something and decided to go out and play Blood Bowl. So I was thinking to myself, oh, I should paint the sources red for corn, and then just do, like, a bright white confectioner's apron or whatever. And then maybe put some chocolate. I had too many ideas, and it stalled my brain.
You also have too many Lizard Man teams, so you have all those options.
Yeah. So...
Because you really were going to paint these guys like red and everything,
mm-hmm.
right? Because you have... How many Lizard Man teams? You have 3 now?
Well, I have the GW, I have the plastic impact ones, and then I have some plastic...
I thought you had two of the impact ones. I thought you had the saltwater ones and the normal looking ones.
Well, I have all the pieces,
Oh, okay.
which includes different types. But
Oh, okay. I thought those were two different teams.
no, it's the same team.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
They can be broken into two separate teams, but
Okay.
I just have all the pieces.
I got you.
So that was part of my reason for not painting them, because in my head it sounded cool, but then I thought to myself, do I really want to paint this just to sort of match the theme for one game, one tournament? Because I'm not the type of person that has 1,000 teams and I want to just paint one for every tournament. Kent, some other people Kent are like that.
Me and Kent Rafferty, we were texting Rafferty. Did I not say that right the first
Said
time?
Rafferty.
Oh, I'm sorry. Kent Rafferty from Austin, Texas, and I'll tell his address in the closing credits.
Okay.
We were texting back and forth, and he was kind of like talking about, I don't know, I got the sense that it's kind of like daunting of a task to come up with a new team and a new theme. I mean, because he customizes every team that he makes.
He's crazy.
Because he has a lot
He's
of teams.
awesome, but
Right, and so I could tell that it was probably wearing down on him and stuff.
Yeah.
But he's like, it's really hard to actually do this. And he goes, and so far I've done it in every tournament I've gone to. And I was like, I knew he did it with most of them because I've been at most of the tournaments he's been at, but I didn't know he did it with every one of them. So that's like a big credit to him.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And like I said, so that was part of my problem is I started looking at it, and then that started making me question if I should do the theme. That started making me question if I should paint them that way. And I decided to keep with the theme, but then I just ended up not painting, and yeah, a lot of problems on my end. But ultimately, I'm happy with it as a theme.
The Executioner. I can't say it, can I? I can't even say my joke.
Executioner.
Executioner.
Jeez.
Wow. Well, I made a good joke. It's just I can't say it.
Yeah. So that's my team. If you care, I'm taking Pro on the Crocs, Block on 4 Sorai, and Mighty Blow on 2 Sorai. Just, it's one of those things I'm wanted a simple roster that I don't have to think too much about. Because the more simple it is for me, the better I play, and the less I have to worry. And if I lose or win, I'm going to have a good time.
I think you're right. I think you'll actually do good.
And I named all my guys after Hershey's candies.
All right. Well, I'm going to throw a number out there. I don't want to ruin it for everybody.
Okay.
They might play you, and they might get some enjoyment. But I'm going to throw a number out there. First off, how many sources? Are you taking all of them?
Yeah.
Or Sorai?
I took the Crocs, 6 Sorai, and 5 Skinks.
5 Skinks.
So I've got 12 players.
12 players, 2 rerolls?
Only 1 reroll.
1 reroll. Okay. So they're all named after...
Which, yes, that 1 reroll will suck, but I get to play with the Crocs.
Well,
And I gave them Pro, so that's a lot of rerolls there.
yeah. You'll probably use it every turn.
Probably.
So give me your Crocs. Is it number 1?
Yeah.
What's his name?
As it is spelled, Wa Cha Ma Kal Et.
Whatchamacallit.
The whatchamacallit, yeah.
Okay. Give me number...
But they're all spelled out like Aztec-y.
Okay. Give me number 9. Is he a skink?
Better Chuck. It's Buttercups.
Oh, okay. Buttercup.
Yeah, he's a skink.
He's a skink. Buttercup, the skink. Oh, my God.
He's my little Buttercup. He's got the cutest smile.
Oh, my gosh.
It's in your head now, isn't it?
Yes.
It's the Three Amigos, isn't it?
No, you just gave me an idea that would annoy players that... we'll talk about that.
Okay.
Give me number 5, and then we'll let it be. Unless you want to talk more about your names.
Mao Nds.
Mounds.
Mounds.
Nice. He's got big jugs.
He's a candy bar.
Would it be wrong?
Yes.
Okay, so...
I don't know where you're going, but yes.
Okay. Have you been to the toy aisle lately? Do you know they have like this My Little Pony, like...
Oh, toy aisle, yeah.
They have like these My Little Pony things where you can... It's a random figure. It's like $3. It's like a small little, like almost like a Lego
like
size
a
guy.
blind bag thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, have you seen those?
I've heard about them, yeah.
I wonder if it's possible to get like enough of those to put them on a base and get enough of the unicorn ones, and they could be your beastmen on a team. And then you could get some other things for the Chaos Warriors. And then how annoying would that be, people playing against ponies?
So,
You can't do that.
no.
I would like to do this for my league.
You would do Pegasus as the
Chaos Warriors. And then all the
unicorns as the Beastmen,
Uh-huh.
and Alicorn as the Minotaur. Alicorns are a combination unicorn and Pegasus.
Is that new, though? I've Googled that, and you can't find a lot of stuff on alicorns.
I don't think it's a new it's not a new concept, but it might be a new... It's gaining more prominence.
Okay. Is it based off of some book thing, or...
I think it's based off old myths,
Okay.
but I'm not positive.
Well, because...
My Little Pony talk.
Well, here's a little confession. I know this is going way off topic. Back when we played second edition, there's a team called the Everbold Unicorns.
Right.
Okay. And I really believe, and I believed at the time, that they were elves. The guys that I played with didn't think they were elves. And remember the unicorn guy, the villain from Marvel Comics?
The unicorn? Yeah.
He's called Unicorn.
Yeah.
And he had that kind of like silhouette of a unicorn on his chest. It looked really cool, even though he looks like a dumb character overall. So when we used to draw our Blood Bowl illustrated covers and stuff, that's where Sears Mayfeather came from. And so we fell in love with Sears Mayfeather, the human, because they thought that was a human team, so I got outvoted.
Okay.
And of course they had these Blood Bowl uniforms, but they had a horn on their helmets, and we just thought that was really cool. And they had the silhouette on the side of their helmets and on their jersey of that unicorn, just like from the Marvel Comics thing. It looked really well on like a concept for a comic or Blood Bowl or anything else.
That's cool.
So I've always loved, even though I never played them in our league, it was actually my buddy Gary's team. I've always loved the Everbold Unicorns. Mm-hmm. And there's nothing out there much about them except other people agree that they're probably elves. So, and there's like one did you know. When I play, I might not make up my own pro elf team when I have one. I might bring back the Everbold Unicorns or give them some type of city, like
Everfree.
Well, what's the big island? I can't really say it. Yultharian or whatever, the big island continent that's elves. And I know I just bastardized saying that, but if you look on the Warhammer maps, it's the big island where all the high elves and stuff live. I was thinking like Yultharian United, and then like their mascot is the unicorn, so it's still a play off the Everbold Unicorns.
That'd be cool.
Because I have a pro elf team that I recently bought before GW shut down or sold out of everything Blood Bowl. And I also found a unicorn miniature from Reaper. It's one of those plastic unicorn miniatures. Yeah. So I didn't know if I was going to make them the Everbold Alicorns, is where I was doing my research, or if I want to stick with unicorns or what. But
you could get a whole bunch of Norse linemen or the Norse berserkers that have the horn, and you put those heads on them.
That'd be awesome.
I hate that model so much.
I love...
I cut off that horn and shaved it down, and it looks so much better.
I love that miniature.
I hate it.
I also like all my elf teams to be kind of like frou-frou and gay. Yeah. If that's a term.
It's not derogatory if it's true.
Oh, okay.
I mean...
I like the flamboyancy, because that's how I remember second edition elves being.
Yeah, absolutely.
Snooty and wearing hot pink and... light blue, and like, we're going to pass all over you, sucker. All right.
And they spoke jive for some reason.
And they spoke jive. Well.
Stewardess, I speak jive.
They got rid of the Black Elf blocker in second edition, in third edition.
Okay.
But I know they kept the Black Orc blocker, but they got rid of the Black Elf blocker.
Okay.
You don't care for that joke?
Was that a joke?
It was trying to be.
Okay.
It was trying to be funny.
Okay, let's go on to your team.
All right. No, I digress.
Yep.
All right, so my team, I chose Undead. And I just didn't, after last year's Chaos Cup, say, I'm going to play Lizards, or like whatever Steve did.
Yeah.
I actually went to the rules pack was ready, and I was like, what team can I play that gets me 2 rerolls and 12 men? I'm not going to lie. That's what team haven't I played yet at a tournament that's going to give me 2 rerolls at least, and 12 guys. Because I always get my butt handed to me at tournaments, so I want to have that extra player.
Okay.
So, out of all the teams, and since you were taking Lizardmen and stuff, I decided to go with Undead. I also thought, we know Chaos Cup is like one of the biggest tournaments, so I wanted to be semi-competitive, at least try. Now, come Sunday, and I start the day 1 and 3, then we just know I'm not a good player. But
you could end up 3-3. You never know.
Yeah, I could. I could also go like 6-0.
Hopefully.
Oh my gosh, dude! If I won Chaos Cup, that'd be so awesome.
We'd have to end the podcast. It's done.
Dude, I don't know if I'd ever play another tournament again. I'd just be like, I'm done. This is it. That'd be the ultimate. So my team's called the Gregor Shockers, and I always kind of like the. Around here we're close to Kansas, which is the Wichita State Shockers.
Is it?
Mm-hmm. They're old baseball team. Well, you don't follow sports maybe as much as
I don't follow college baseball, no.
I used to follow everything, 20 years ago. But Wichita State Wheat Shockers, or just Shockers for short, they used to be a really good baseball team.
Okay.
And I always thought that was kind of a goofy name, but then it kind of grew on me, and I kind of liked it. Well, when I was thinking Undead team, and actually really it's thinking necromantic team.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking of the bolts on the side of the heads of the Frankenstein-looking dudes, the flesh golems, and getting shocked to
Makes
life
sense.
and stuff.
Yeah.
But I took it in a different way. I was after I decided to probably take Undead, I was building miniatures with green stuff, trying to put arms on Spider-Smith, that awesome-looking but terrifying model that has so many arms that is offered through Impact Miniatures.
Yeah.
And I was putting together some of the other miniatures, like Slim McHam and the vampire guy from that Slurpee sells. Or, I think it's from Street Ball. I don't know what his name is. Count Druncula, I think it is.
Okay, yeah.
He's offered through Impact, but
Yeah.
I think he was made for Street Ball itself.
Not sure.
So I was putting all these guys together, and I was like, when am I ever going to use this guy? I wish I could build a stadium or something so I could just put this guy in the stands. And I was like, he just looks kind of like, he looks just like a goofy vampire, not like a cool vampire that you're scared of, just like a vampire you go have a beer with. And so...
And in Oklahoma, if you went up to somebody and said, hey, name a goofy vampire that you'd go up and have a beer with.
His name would be Count Gregor, which when we grew up around here, we had our 3 main stations, and if you didn't have cable, you had channel 25, 34, and 43, which were, I guess, what they'd be called independent stations.
Non-network
stations. So, 5 years after something, you got the reruns on there, and you got to relive that show again. And that's where
old movies.
And our cartoons were on there, after we got home from school. And every Saturday night, Count Gregor would have, it changed throughout the years. Like, it was Fright Night and the Chiller Hour and all these things. So I did some research, and I was like, this guy looks like a goofy vampire dude. And so Gregor's kind of cool, and that sounds kind of like a city or a place or even just a sponsorship for, some excuse for the first name. So obviously I changed the spelling to, it's just Gregor, Grey, Gore, Gore. And then he actually had a theater called Shock Theater. Mm-hmm. So when I saw that...
And this was... Count Gregor, like Scott's saying, is... I guess he's not really spelling it out, but... he used to show movies. And he would...
He was the host. If you ever watched Joe Bob Briggs back in the
Elvira, day, or anybody in your local market...
I'm sorry, yeah. I didn't spell it out. Yeah, thanks for...
They would, show an old movie late at night, and before or after commercials, they'd come on and say something.
Right, yeah, in between he would say stuff, and he would be in a spooky kind of background and stuff. And he'd always dress up as a vampire. And really, if you went to conventions, he would always be there, local comic conventions.
Yeah, we just went to one 2 years ago, and he was there.
Yeah, I mean, he's still around. His first show, though, was called Shocker Theater, or Shock Theater, or something like that. So I did some research on him. And I was like, okay, I guess my necromantic team's not going to be the Shockers. It's going to be this team. And I'm going to call them Gregor Shockers.
Yeah.
So What I'm saying is this guy, so now this also gave me an excuse to use that miniature as a coach. Perfect coach miniature
Absolutely.
for this. So he is a Cabal Vision guy. He's an actor who got hired to do a show on Cabal Vision, which in Blood Bowl universe is the Crystal Ball network thing where you can, broadcast through Crystal Ball. And I'm saying he thought he was just a normal dude this whole time, and he hosted a crappy show, and then he realized through history and did some research on his family, because he was just known as like a goofy charlatan type, nobody respected him or anything else, that he actually had an ancestry that could raise the dead and stuff. And so it was in his blood, and then he went and did some more research and somehow figured out that he could unlock the keys to control the undead himself. So not only did he dress up like a goofy vampire guy and act like this, he actually really wasn't a vampire, but he did have the family trait passed down to him that he could raise the dead.
So he's like a goofy vampire TV host who is actually Frankenstein's nephew.
Yeah.
Okay.
Kind of like that. I know that's really
You
loose.
combine the two. That's nice.
Okay, so now he realizes, and of
God,
course,
now I want to remake Young Frankenstein with Count Gregor.
And of course, everybody in this version of the old world loved Blood Bowl, right? So he's a Blood Bowl fan, and so what better things to do if you can raise the dead? Now he can be the coach of this undead team, get more respect, travel the world, do his little show that's now super popular in Cabal Vision, and here we go. So the guy's real name is like John Ferguson that plays Count Gregor, so I changed this guy's name to Count.
He's not a real vampire?
No, he's not a real vampire.
What?
I know you thought so.
Oh, you just ruined my whole childhood.
I know, Grandpa Vampire. So I changed his name to Count Johann Ferguson, and then I just took a bunch of names from. I went through a bunch of old, like the top 100 classic horror movies and stuff like that. All the older crap stuff, old Hammer films and stuff, and I found names throughout those movies, and I kind of rearranged those. So.
Cool.
So that's how my team comes apart, and then the colors are kind of supposed to be. It's supposed to be like the Seattle Seahawks kind of blues.
Yeah.
And I wanted the bright green, the shocking green, and the green might not pop as much as I want it to on my paint job, but it's done.
It still looks good.
So
it blends well together.
So yeah, so that's my team, and then he has assistants, which is actually the little vampire girl also sold my Impact that my daughter painted. I'm using that as like his assistant.
Yeah.
So she'll be with the team when
the Bloodweiser babe with the
scorekeeper, whatever.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the one that's holding the little cup.
Mm-hmm.
And then of course I have an undead cheerleader and stuff too. So.
Yeah, you have to.
So there you go. That's my team, and I'm sticking with it.
Well, give us some names, positions, skills.
All right, so I'm taking two mummies. Karis Hammer it's the mummy from the Hammer films, so that was easy to come up with.
MC Hammer films.
Yeah, MC Hammer films. I'm having one mummy with block. The other mummy has nothing but what he comes with. I have two whites. I have Basil Rathbone, which you actually recognize this name.
Yeah. He was the original actor who played Sherlock Holmes.
Okay. But he spelled it different than mine, right?
Yeah, it was R-A-T-H.
Okay. So, see, I did the thing, and when I was playing Steve, he goes, oh, that's really cool. And I was like, oh, cool, somebody knows what I'm talking about. So I felt awesome. So one of the whites is Basil Rathbone, and then the one with claw. Yeah, have you seen that white that has like those little like brass knuckles that looks like a claw?
Yeah.
I don't know why I named him Captain. There was a movie had a scary pirate or something in it called Captain Cutler. Or something like Ghost Pirate or something. I don't know, but I combined the name Captain Cujo Cutler. He's my other white. So he's one of those guys that's going to have Frenzy. And then my ghouls, Ichabod Thorne, Jebediah Crane, Damian Morningside. Those are all three names that I just kind of shifted the names. I think it was Jebediah Thorne, Damian Crane, and Ichabod Morningside or something, but they're like characters from horror movies.
Ichabod Crane. Legend of Sleepy Hollow.
Never mind, I did that wrong. Ichabod Crane, there you go. Jebediah Morningside and Damian Thorne.
Damian Thorne.
I'm glad you figured out Ichabod Crane. Oh my God. And then in my last ghoul was Spider Baby. That was some villain from some other movie that I just thought was too funny.
Come on, Spider Baby, get down from there.
Come on, Spider Baby. So those are my ghouls. I'm going wrestle on 2 of them. I'm
Okay.
going block on 2 of them, and one of those with block is going to have sure hand. So I hope that kind of protects the ghouls. And then from our league, Grim Vinny Funk, one of the skeletons that I hired through free agency, he's coming over.
One of the Funk Brothers.
Yeah, and then Coffin Joe, which is another skeleton, based off some movie. There's some character named Coffin Joe. And then I think Stinkweed I made up. He's my zombie. He's like the veteran zombie, Stinkweed. What is Stinkweed? Is that pot? I've heard that term before,
Probably.
but I never know
Yeah.
what it was. So, and then just I have a normal name. Guido Van Ryzen is the other zombies.
Oh, yeah,
I
that's a
think
normal name.
That's pretty normal. It's based off some actor or something.
Okay.
So it's not totally normal, but anyways. So that's my team. I got 2 rerolls, so I was happy with that. No fan factor cheerleaders or assistant coaches, but I have my bench player. I have my 2 rerolls, and I have the fluff behind it, so no matter what happens, I'm at least happy about that.
Good.
Until I play, then I'm going to be mad when I lose.
Oh, well, yeah, of course.
But
Yeah, I actually have 1 coach and 1 cheerleader.
I think that's a great idea.
I had 20,000 left, so,
No, that's good.
you know.
I think that's smart of you.
So, what are we taking next year to Chaos Cup?
I can tell you that right now.
Really?
Uh-huh.
What?
Now, hold on. I said last year that I said I was going to take Nurgle to Chaos Cup, and I changed my mind because I couldn't wait to play Nurgle.
This is non-binding. What are we feeling right now?
I
2014 Chaos Cup.
I assume Johnny's going to continue on with the Who's Chaz's daddy.
Yeah.
So it's going to be Zinch next year.
Mm-hmm.
I have a Chaos team based supposedly on Zinch, like the scheme and the beast are kind of blue color and everything else.
Helps that they're already painted.
They're already painted. They're ready to go. So I think I'm done painting a team every year for Chaos Cup at least
Yeah.
next year. But I like the fact that Johnny's doing these theme. You know, Chaos Cup doesn't need a theme, but it's nice that it has it.
Right. Yeah.
You know, you have Fluff based off of it. Next year, I can bring Zinch in. I can play on a Zinch field, assuming that he gets a field made.
Yeah.
And I can have my team. And I've always either wanted to play Chaos Pack or Chaos at Chaos Cup, even though we know they're not going to do well. So next,
Good.
anybody could with the
Well,
dice,
yes.
right, dice rolls and stuff. But so I'm going to try Chaos, just Chaos next year. I haven't even looked at the builds.
Yeah.
So you're right. Don't hold me to it because if I can't get a bench player and at least 2 rerolls, and if I can't have leader, then those are my crutches. So
I'm going to give myself more than a year this time to get this done. So probably still won't happen. And I don't know if I will actually do it because going with orcs.
what?
I know. I don't like orcs. I've never played orcs, never had a desire to play orcs. The only orc team I ever really liked was the one that we gave away for Oklahoma Bowl, sadly enough.
Right. Do you have an orc team?
I've got a crap ton of orc teams.
Oh, okay.
Plastic ones, metal ones.
You have one painted?
No. Well, maybe.
You're going to paint your own?
But not well. I'm not only going to paint my own, I'm going to use this as an excuse to paint the band of orcs. I have an extra set of those.
Okay.
I'm going to paint some sideline orc boys, noise boys that I
Okay.
got from Liam
Uh-huh.
a while back that I told him I'd paint and I never actually got around to.
Okay.
And I'm using this all as an excuse to force myself to paint it. Again, I don't know if that will actually happen.
So I need to stay on your butt now, and for every
Give me a
podcast
month.
going
Give
forward.
me a month. But yeah.
You know what? I'm going to give you through October.
Okay.
And then every podcast after that, I'm going to ask what the status is. And
Okay.
me and everybody on Twitter and on Facebook are going to give you a hard time.
I don't doubt it. But that's what I need to do. I need to paint them. I need to make a stage for Band of Orcs. I need to
Look at this guy.
do all kinds of stuff.
Now, my team, like the Gregor Shockers and teams I've taken to Chaos Cup in the past, have been like teams I've used in the league.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I took Oklahoma Ginger Badgers. Those were in our league last year. The Shockers are going to be in our league this year. And then the Blackwater Bulls from the first time I went to Chaos Cup was also from a league.
Yeah.
From our league. We know Crackle, at least this Crackle team is just going to be a tournament team for you. What about your orc teams? Does
I
that
have no
mean you
clue.
might play orcs in our league?
I seriously doubt it,
Oh, okay.
but you never know.
Oh, okay. You have a team name or anything?
Not at all.
Wow.
Just the thought came to me. I should do it.
Okay. That's good. You have plenty of time to work on this.
I sure do. Speaking of time, let's go ahead and wrap this up, and we'll come back with our final segment.
Hi there, Blood Bowl fans. This is Snobb Costas, beat writer for the Long Island Blood Bowl League, shilling for the best Blood Bowl podcast with a goblin commentator. And those Steven Scott guys, too.
All right, we're back. We're going to talk a little bit about Chaos Cup, and I don't mean the trip to Chicago.
Really?
I mean the actual Chaos Cup in the history of Blood Bowl.
You mean like Fluff?
Like Fluff.
Wow.
We are supposedly a Fluff podcast.
This is like 3 segments in a row on Fluff.
Isn't that weird?
I don't know what we're doing.
We'll probably lose listeners.
Well, probably.
They'll be like, I like the more funny talk about Alan's junk.
Hey, off of that. Anyways. So, Chaos Cup.
Alan has a lot of junk now that his house is destroyed.
That's true, yeah. Absolutely.
I don't know what you were talking about.
It's just,
All right. Chaos Cup. Yes. Let's talk about it.
when did it come around? Has it always been there?
It's always been there, at least in second edition.
Okay.
I can tell you that. The reason why going to Chaos Cup, and I've said it countless times, and I'll say it again in case you're the first time you ever listen to this podcast, is it's in the Fluff. That's why I get excited about it. I hopefully one day we'll have the money to go to NAF championships, and then the Spike
the Blood Bowl,
or the Blood Bowl, and the Spike tournament, because or even Dungeon Bowl. I'd love to go to all the big ones.
and
I don't know what the one's called. What is the other one called? What's the other big one? Because I don't know. I'm sure it's Fluff based, but it's not like the Orchidas Team of the Year.
I thought it was just Australian based.
No, there's a huge tournament there, and I can't remember the name of it right now. I'm sorry, it's Australian.
Man,
people.
we've sent stuff to them.
Yes, it's not the Strike or anything, or is that their league?
Southern Strike? No, I don't. That's coming up the same month.
It's the one that
I can't
they
remember.
just did a miniature, right? Isn't that
That's
the big
that's
one?
Southern Strike.
Okay, that's
but
Southern
I don't
Strike.
think that's.
Okay, well, regardless,
Anyways.
I don't know if it actually is pulled right out of the Fluff.
We need an Australian Blood Bowl podcast to tell us this stuff.
Yeah, we sure do. So, all you Australian players, email us, tweet at us, and tell us, get us right, get us set straight. But this is right out of the books.
Right.
And
One of the 4 original majors.
yeah, so just when we discovered all this and like, oh wow, I can actually be a part of it feels like I'm a part of Jervis Johnson's history in some little aspect of this.
Yeah.
So back in second edition, you had your teams that made the playoffs if you played right out of the league, or what you thought was the league, like us silly guys did. And the top 8 teams that aren't off playing for the NAF championship or the Blood Bowl,
as it was called.
Well, the league was called the NAF.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I believe.
Yeah.
And so the top 8 teams after that, and they're supposed to be, ideally, you're supposed to have at least, there's some little sayings and writings here and there that said you had to have at least one Chaos player on your team, otherwise you wouldn't go play it or anything else like that. But, we actually never played this out, but it was supposed to be the top 8 teams through the Chaos Cup. Believe it or not, I don't know why we didn't play this out, because we played everything else out. So maybe we should do some of those, how they do those retro comics where John Byrne comes in and says, I'm going to do X-Men, the Hidden Years. And I'm going to do what happened between, this was 10 years ago, but I'm going to do what happened between X-Men 35 and 36.
Okay.
Or Kurt Busiek did one with Spider-Man.
Untold Tales?
Untold Tales.
Okay, yeah.
That was in between issues. Anyways, so we could do that. I could go back and play old Chaos Cup with second edition rules.
Sure.
Moving right along. It originated, according to the lore of the Fluff, it used to be called the White Skull Challenge.
White Skull Cup, I thought.
Or White Skull Cup Challenge or whatever. Okay. And then it was called the Chaos Cup. It has a really distinctive history.
Sponsored by Orchidas?
I don't think so. Was it? Oh, okay.
Well, it said in the
Steve's shaking his head. So, all right. So
I saw it in the book.
You saw it in the book.
In the red book, the companion book.
Oh, okay. Awesome. So, okay, it was sponsored by Orchitis.
Mm-hmm.
And, like I think there's a tale or a did you know that, like, you get rewarded with the Chaos Gods. They give you, like, a mutation for the winning team.
Well, that's legit. And it's
And-
actually in the rules.
Right.
Okay.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. The legend part is like, that elf player that has hypnotic gaze?
Oh,
I think-
Eldril Sidewinder?
Yes, I think that's where that kind of comes out of, that he got blessed by Chaos or something like that, the Chaos
okay.
Cup or something like that. I could be wrong. I know I shouldn't be wrong since we're the Fluff podcast, but I'm just trying to go by memory here as Steve clicks away on his computer. So, yeah, this is why it's such a great honor in a weird way to go play this tournament that's called Chaos Cup to me. And the fact that, Tom always sponsors it with some Chaos All-Stars miniatures, so I know that's the goofiest thing ever. Instead of traveling to Chicago, I should just go on eBay and buy the miniature. But
Let's see. The only
I like-
did you know on Lore of Nuffle about Chaos Cup?
is this the one about the cup playing for a team?
No. It's from the companion book. It says, to put a bit more pep into the Chaos Cup, from this season on, the losing team captain in each game must present himself to be eaten by the trophy. Blech.
There was an also did you know, and it might be I don't know where it's from. I know you're shaking
Not
your head.
according to...
The Lore of Nuffle.
Lore of Nuffle.
I will find out somewhere where it says that the Chaos Cup actually played with a team, and I think he played with the Chaos All-Stars.
Okay.
It might not be a did you know, it might be in just like the Chaos All-Stars breakdown or something like that. But there was a thing where the Chaos Cup played, and that, as kids, believe it or not, we accepted chainsaw loonies and grenades and chaos seesaws and everything else, but we didn't like the fact that a cup played with a team, that it had like its own spirit and stuff. And
Yeah.
I know that sounds really goofy, but
I get that.
so we didn't accept that. Now I think it's kind of funny and cool. That's what Tom needs to do. Tom, are you listening? You need a unique but based Chaos Cup miniature that you can just call it Chaos Trophy, and we can get for like Chaos Cup next year. Get what I'm saying?
Like do a recast or
No, not really a recast, but maybe
a new
like
looking one?
the one that, I don't
Junkie
know.
Studios could do that.
Yeah. Ooh. He could.
Okay.
Maybe we'll talk to him about it.
Anyways.
Glad
Figured
we
that was
said-
coming.
Glad we said that in tandem. Anything else on Chaos Cup? I mean, does anything excite you about Chaos Cup, or is it really just a big tournament to you?
I think it's cool that it's in the Fluff. And
Okay.
it was always, reading up on the Fluff, it was always the second to the Blood Bowl Championship itself as to Prestige. And it has the coolest looking trophy.
It really does, actually.
Yeah.
I mean, anytime I think of Blood Bowl, I think of the Chaos.
And you always told me that, the cup came alive and played, and it was a nice idea that, in my head, that, the trophy was alive and would eat people and
Right.
give mutations and all that stuff. So, I mean, it's cool if you look in the rules, like Scott said, in the old rules, the winner of the Chaos Cup would get an additional roll every game for the disadvantage table.
I think it was third edition when that
Okay.
came around. It was like they had we do inducements now.
Right.
They had some type of table. I can't remember the exact name. You want me to look at it real quick? I can pull out the books and like try to figure
Might be why
this
we
out.
have them.
It might be why we have the books, but I still can't find it. This just talks about
Very last
money.
paragraph.
Is it? This roll is addition to any other roll. Oh, the handicap table.
Handicap table. There we
Before inducements, there was a handicap table that had a big chart, and you compared team values and said, like, oh, I get 3 rolls on the handicap table versus
Okay.
Steve's team. And it could be,
So no matter
wizard
what,
or
if you
extra
won the
cheerleaders.
Chaos Cup the next season, you always got one additional random handicap thing.
correct.
So that's kind of neat.
So, yeah.
And then in the new rules, if you go by them, then the winner, the MVP, gets a mutation
a
roll.
mutation, right.
That's cool.
And at Chaos Cup, our last round, we always get to pick 2 players on our team and give them a mutation. Have you even thought about that?
I forgot about that.
I know.
Oh, yeah.
Isn't that pretty neat?
It'll depend on who I play, though. So that's why I put it out of my head.
But it's going to actually probably be pretty helpful to you because it's going to have to be on your skinks.
Mm-hmm.
So you can do like big hand or extra arms or something like that. Something to help you pick up the ball. That's what I'm saying. That's
Long
where your
legs.
teams are long. There you go. So anyways, that's all I have on Chaos Cup. I just kind of
That's
wanted
it.
to let people know a little bit about it and stuff.
You don't want
What?
to go over winners or...
I could. I mean, they can look in their books.
Well, they can check Lore of Nuffle.
Laura Nuffle lists it. I mean,
They listed up until 2005. I mean, 2905 or whatever.
on Laura Nuffle.
Yeah.
Well, there's another book where it has more up-to-date, Chaos Cup winners and stuff. But I think it's really cool that if you win the dang thing, you're in the history because they started.
Exactly. That's what I was
naming
going to
that.
go for. I mean, this is a chance to get in the quote-unquote official rules.
Yeah,
If you win it,
it's a better reason to come up with a cool name for your Blood Bowl team that sounds like it's from the old world Blood Bowl universe.
this goes
And it's-
back to Scott hating men in tights.
Yeah,
Okay. I understand.
I respect the heck out of Mr. Bradford.
Mm-hmm.
And I understand his funny name, but
Yeah.
no, that doesn't work for me. Not both down approved. I want to take a stamp this year, and I want to go around. I want to take that stamp and stamp every roster that I like, and that way they can go home and go, hey, Dad, I played the Chaos Cup, and I got both down approved, and wear it like a badge of honor.
That
But
would be
most
kinda
people
cool.
will go like, shut up, you're a
Who
grown
the hell
man.
are you?
Yeah,
What's
you're-
both down?
Yeah, what's both down? What's this thing?
What's a podcast?
What's a exactly? We have friends that say
That's
that.
why we can't get mad at people if they don't listen. What's a podcast? Okay, well, you know what? You're not our target audience.
Never mind.
Yeah.
Enjoy your TV.
So that's the cool thing about Chaos Cup. You can actually get in the rules. Yeah.
Anything else?
This could be our shortest segment ever.
It could be, but it was supposed to be short. I just
Yeah.
wanna-
If you have any questions about Chaos Cup, come to Chaos Cup and play. And
Yeah,
then you can
ask
get them
us.
answered.
and have cool team names. I don't want the team winning just be called Goblin Team. Hey,
Goblin
it's
Team.
Goblin Team. It's Goblin Team.
Goblin Team 5.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Okay.
Or We Are Green.
We are green. All right, we're going to end it here and come back with shout-outs, all right?
Yeah, because we are red. We're gingers. You like that?
No,
Okay.
I don't. But okay, we're done.
All right.
Hi, everybody. I'm Snobb Costas, beat writer for the Long Island Blood Bowl League, here with another Did You Know, featuring some of the most interesting stories of history in the Blood Bowl universe. Today, how much fashion sense should a troll slayer actually have? When a fan attends a game, the first thing they see is the bloodstains on the astrogranite. Next, they probably notice the cheerleaders hopping up and down, unless it's for the Cairo Raps. No one wants to see their mummy in that position. After that, they notice the customized, colorful uniforms on their favorite players. But did you know that Blood Bowl teams didn't always wear uniforms? Records found recently of an early-era game between the Middenheim Maulers and the Sylvanian Death Watchers show that the teams didn't wear any distinctive clothing to tell the players apart. Of course, it was fairly easy to distinguish between men walking and dead men walking, but other than a small amount of armor plating, there was nothing resembling current uniforms. Then came Tomei Hildiger, the dwarven clothing designer. He first approached coach Bor Kettlewatcher of the Undermountain Diggers, a semi-pro team in the World Edge Mountains. Hildiger proposed that the Diggers should wear a distinctive shirt, providing a difference between their players and the others in the All-Dwarf League. Hildiger gave them yellow shirts with shovels depicted on them. Hildiger then brought it to the NAF, and the first team to wear uniforms were the Chaos All-Stars. But they decided to mess with their opponents and all wore differently colored uniforms with the same number on each, 13 and a half. Uniforms have developed over the last few decades to have chainmail sewn into the insides. Boomtown Rat's blocker, Smell You Later, even had packets of horse manure sewn into his jersey so that when he took a hit, his opponent got a little more than they bargained for. So now you know what I know. This is Snobb Costas.
All right, we're back for some shout-outs to close this wonderful, beautiful, brilliant episode of Both Down.
Fluffy.
Fluffy.
Very fluffy.
That's how I like my women. Little fluff on them. Why is that funny?
I like my women like I like my wine.
Old?
Locked in the basement.
Oh, locked in the basement. Jeez. Oh, my gosh. We almost made it through the whole episode without you doing some creepy thing.
No, can't do that. So who do we have to shout out this month?
I would like to give a couple of shout-outs. First, I'd like to give out some shout-outs to the 3-Dad Block guys for accepting our podcast versus podcast challenge at Chaos Cup.
Which we're going to lose.
It's very possible. You know,
I like how they talk smack, and, well, really, it's Chance. I like how Chance will talk smack, like on Facebook or something.
oh, is he talking smack?
A little bit. But the thing is, he doesn't realize he has Drew, and I have you.
Oh, thanks.
So, or you have me, either way.
Okay. So
Drew's a better player than either one of us.
Okay.
And Chance, even if he's going for nothing, he's going for casualties, he might lose, but
Well, here's
he's still good.
Here's the honest deal, without making any excuses.
Mm-hmm.
I knew Chance was going to take that team, but I thought we'd still throw out this challenge. And then our third wheel, our new third wheel, Michael Lewis, just out of blue goes, I think I'll take goblins. And I wanted to go like,
no,
dude, you can't do that. You got to take dwarves or something so we can beat these guys. Because we're not counting the scavenger hunt this
watch
year.
him go 4-0.
And so, but he
face.
said he wanted to take goblins, and I was like, okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
Because it's for fun, it's for bragging rights, and if we lose, we're going to have excuses, and if we win, it's because we're really skilled.
Executioner.
See, you didn't say it right.
Executioner.
Executioner. Okay. But anyways, I'd like to thank them for accepting the challenge. We'll have a good, fun time, and we're going to bash their face in.
Yep. Speaking of podcasts again,
Sure.
Orca Cola Blood Bowl podcast.
I think it's Orca Cola. Type in Blood Bowl podcast on iTunes and it'll show up. That's actually how I discovered it. I didn't
Really?
Yeah.
Which means we need more ratings on iTunes if we didn't show up first.
No, we showed up. They showed up too, is what I'm saying.
I got you.
The usual suspects showed up.
Yeah.
But that's how I discovered them. Because every now and then I just want to make sure that we're like still in the search engine and stuff.
It's a good idea.
I'm kind of goofy. will Google my kids' names every now and then to see if there's anything out there, and then I get mad when I find out it's like linked to some picture my wife put up on Facebook, and I get mad.
Oh, well, yeah.
So
that'll happen.
It's a strange world we live in. Ever Googled your name? Yours is probably fairly
It's Steve
common.
Campbell.
Oh, okay. You never tried Kilowoggy?
That no.
How to escape from a basement. I don't even know what I was talking about.
We also want to give a shout out
to
to
the new podcast.
Oh yeah,
Xander and Uriel.
Yeah.
Give it a shot. Go rate them.
Yeah,
rate us too.
Yeah, definitely. Give us higher ratings because we asked.
Because we're the number one Blood Bowl podcast.
Yep. Rob Knipe wrote an email telling us that he had some painting tips since you were asking.
Yeah, actually, I would like to thank him and a tremendous amount of people on Twitter because I don't know if I was griping about painting or talking about my crappy brushes, but everybody's, all I need is money now. I know the right brushes to get that are going to make me not a better painter, but I'm not going to have a crappy brush.
Right.
So send me some money, and I'll go buy these awesome brushes. But thanks, Blood Bowl community.
Anybody else?
Yeah, I'd like to, believe it or not, some guys reached out to us for, or even me, for some Blood Bowl advice. And I'm talking about like team tournaments and like what do you
building a team?
Building a team at the tournament. And I was like, I didn't do very good with Slan, but I can give you my team roster. And he was really appreciative. That was Ricky Kane. So I hope it helps.
Speaking of Kane,
actually,
if anybody was curious from last episode, the wrestler Kane was born in the same hospital as I was.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Just years apart.
Torrejon de Ordaz in Spain.
Okay, great.
Just saying.
You're stealing my thunder here.
Okay.
Actually, I was going to give credit to Paul White.
Yeah.
Or Paul. I mess his name up every time. Paul Wright. I want to call him the Big Show so bad.
I know.
Paul Wright actually gave me the advice for the Slam team that he's also taken to Chaos Cup. So I actually just forwarded all those emails to Ricky Kane. So he would at least get the gist of how Slam is supposed to work.
Yeah.
I'd also like to shout out Pierre Pelyurta, who's on Twitter. His online handle's like Dark Elf and a number.
Whatever.
I don't even remember.
Okay.
I think it's Dark Elf 45. sure that's wrong. Might be 54 or
Anyways.
454.
Nobody cares.
2,500. I don't know. He actually he's tweeting about his home league. He's like, we got a home league, and he actually had a picture of his league all sitting around. I think I might even mention that last podcast, but we started talking, and we talked more and more and more about, like, why don't you, if there's only 6 of you guys, why don't you take 2 teams apiece? And he's like, well, how does that work? And so I explained vast details on how our league works, running it with a short amount or a small amount of people, but you want to run more teams. And so through a lot of conversations through emails and stuff, I sent him over like a lot of our league files and schedules and stuff like that. So I don't know if his league will expand, but at least they now have an option for that. So
Cool.
if you're out there too and you have a small league and you want to maybe expand it because in your head, you can have Major League Baseball with 6 teams. You want it to at least have 12 or something. Give us a shout out. We don't mind sharing our information. It's not like we've discovered this stuff. We have a podcast that we can talk about it on. So, I don't mind sharing any of our league info or anything like
Certainly
that.
not.
Especially if
What
it
we're
helps
here
out
for.
somebody. Yeah. So I hope you guys enjoy it, and I hope it works out.
I want to give a shout out to Adam Marifiotti,
Okay.
who I believe that's how you say his name, hopefully, from Australia. He actually helps with the Southern Shrike Bowl, which we were talking about.
Right.
And we mentioned the new Chaos, or the new Minotaur from Impact that we liked last
I think it's
time.
called the Chaos Minotaur. Or
Yeah.
whatever.
And he said that he actually helped get that created, and it was Pedro Ramos that sculpted it, but it was the MVP from the last Southern Shrike that they, I guess every year they get their MVP sculpted and turned into a miniature. And
I
then
think that's an awesome idea.
it is.
And then any team can take those.
Yeah. So like this year, it's going on, I want to say
Is
the
it
same
this
week.
weekend, or is it the same weekend as Chaos Cup?
I think it's the same weekend as Chaos Cup. Yeah, the 7th and 8th.
Okay.
So any team that it plays can take that Chaos Pact Minotaur.
Are you looking at that stuff now?
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead and read that off. I think it's really
Vladimir the Bull.
Okay.
Read off what he is. 5 move, 5 strength, 2 agility, 8 armor, with Loner, Frenzy, Horns, Mighty Blow, Thick Skull, Wild Animal, Juggernaut, Break Tackle, and Claw for 270.
It's pretty awesome.
It is. He still has Wild Animal, so that at least makes him a little bit touchy.
The fact that every year this MVP can change and they get a miniature made,
Mm-hmm.
doesn't that, if we're in that area, doesn't that make you want to try to utilize that guy every year?
Me, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I would every single time.
It just seems like you would have to,
Mm-hmm.
even though it might not be cost effective and stuff.
Yeah, man, I wish I had the money to get something sculpted for us, but
Maybe one day.
maybe. You never know.
Maybe we'll have like a genuine donor that will just, one day we're going to wake up and PayPal account, there'll be like $1,000.
If somebody would like to buy a comic book collection
Okay.
and memorabilia
I'm glad you're
that
talking about this.
would easily allow you to open up your own comic book store for $20,000, just let me know.
Yeah, Steve has like $40,000 worth of comics.
Yeah, I have more than that, but probably. Well, I had a comic book store come out, and they were not able to come up with the money, which sucked.
What's funny is they didn't re-offer you money because he knew it was a good deal.
No, he was more than happy to pay the amount.
All right.
They just opened up, and they couldn't come up with the funds. And I don't really want
Steve's
to.
dumping everything except Blood Bowl, so you guys got to keep listening to this podcast because this is it. This is his life now.
I would love just to dump it all and get one big paycheck, but I don't think that's going to happen.
I got rid of like almost all my hero clicks.
I'm going to be doing that soon. Give
To
it
the
to our
same
buddy
guy?
Jake, who lost his
He
house.
lost his house, and he was a big HeroClick fan. So I kept like, I think I have enough to fill like one plastic little tackle box now because I kept like Agents of Atlas and the Guardians of the Galaxy, just in case my daughter ever play.
With me having to move soon, I figured it just makes sense to get rid of stuff rather than having to move it.
Yeah, it really does.
And after the tornado, when I thought I lost everything to begin with, I don't have as much a connection to everything now. Realistically, it's just like, oh, well, I didn't think I'd have it anyways.
Well, time to get rid of it then.
Yeah. Way to end on a downer.
if somebody out there, and I don't want to sound like maybe some other podcasts that get on here and beg for things like black or turquoise block dice or whatever odd colors.
Turquoise would be kind of cool.
Whatever. What does he always want? I'll pay money for
Purple.
them. Purple.
Yeah.
You silly Chance. You don't need purple block dice. No, I'm joking. This is a great outlet for people in Blood Bowl to find things for you. If anybody out there has 2nd edition Elf Blitzers, I need 2 of them. You can Google it or whatever, or Twitter me, or through Facebook or through email. If you have questions on what exactly am I looking for, it's the 2nd edition Blitzers. They have the big high hair, the cool pose. I need 2 of those, and I'm willing to maybe trade something. It's probably going to have to be trade because I probably don't have any cash. But, if it's not an astronomical amount, I can maybe work a cash deal out too. So if you have those out there, preferably unpainted, because I hate stripping miniatures. Oh my God, it's so awful. It's like mowing the lawn or doing laundry. It's just awful. If you have 2 of those, please let me know, because I'd really like them, because I need them. I would like them to be the Blitzers on my Pro Elf team.
Right.
So, anyways, there's my begging.
And a shout out to Siggy Llama.
Because he's just
because he's cool, and he sent an email, and that's it.
Dude, that guy loves us.
He just loves Blood Bowl.
No, he loves the best Blood Bowl podcast.
Did we give a shout out to...
No, just do it.
Shout out to Keith Vandenberg, who, if you listen to our previous episodes, he's the one who wrote the cool little stories for us. He's still working on one, but he actually went out and bought a game and some teams, and he's going to look for people to play with up in Canada. So that's really cool. He listened to us without ever playing the game, liked it, and now he's bought the game.
Wow, we led 1 to Blood Bowl.
At least 1.
This is like getting people to know Jesus. We led 1 to Griff.
I was thinking drugs, but okay.
Okay.
Jesus, drugs, same basic effect.
Well, however you want to look at it.
Yeah.
We've led 1 to Griff. Do you accept Griff as your savior?
Wouldn't it be Nuffle?
It could be Nuffle, but wouldn't Griff be the...
So Griff is Jesus to Nuffle's God?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
I don't think I've ever used Griff.
I never have either. But he's always been around.
He's there for us if we need him.
He's always supposed to be good.
Yeah.
And I've never taken him.
Yeah.
Is anybody else taking Griff out there? Anybody? I don't hear anything.
Okay, so I guess it's a no.
Anyways.
It could also be that we're on the podcast, and we should probably just wrap this up.
All right. Anything else?
No, that's it.
I had one more thing to say, but now I can't even remember it.
This is our last podcast until Chaos Cup, so if you're at Chaos Cup, come say hi. Or not,
That's right. We'll see you Thursday night.
We respect your boundaries.
We might not see you too much Friday, because we got to go to the Ethiopian store. We got to go to the Cubs game.
And then we'll be back Friday
We're
night.
partying all day.
A lot of people will be at Medieval Times, which we're not going to.
But a lot of guys will probably be playing board games, so we'll go down there and probably say hi. Saturday we got Blood Bowl. Sunday we got Blood Bowl. Saturday night, Jonas and those guys might be playing some Boner Storm, so catch up with them. And anything else?
That's it.
All right, we'll see you guys at Chaos Cup and after.
You can follow Both Down on Twitter at Both Down. You can follow Scott at FatFinley, FatFinley, and Steve at Kilowog2814. If you'd like to email, their email address is bothdownpodcast@gmail.com. Or for more information, you can visit them at bothdown.com or on Facebook, facebook.com/bothdown.
Both Down is a production of Couch Pirate Radio. Please drop by couchpirates.com to hear more of their podcasts.
Don't mess with the shockers. Don't mess with the shockers. No. No. 'Cause Woo and the boys are riding down from Hillside High. You bet against the Sharks, and mister, they will make you cry. They come from the mean streets of Wichita and busted them brackets is just how them boys ball. That's why you never mess with the Sharks. Don't mess with the Sharks. Don't mess with the Shockers. Don't mess with the Shockers. No, no, no. We lead the world in engineering aviation, but it's at the Coke State gets its greatest ovation. From the dirty little town that brought y'all Pizza Hut. Shockers are coming, the Shockers are coming, the Shockers are coming to kick your butt. So don't mess with the Shockers, don't mess with the Shockers, don't mess with the Shockers.